Welcome to our show. I am so excited today to have a friend that I met through Cavaliers, which I think 90% of my friends I met through Cavaliers. When you're young and you have small children, you meet people through your kids, through school and through that. And then
Right,
when your kids are out of the house, you meet people through your dogs.
right. That's exactly right.
So Antonia is joining me today from
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Although you are going to the nationals with your dogs really soon, right?
Yes, out in
Yes.
Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma. Are you driving out there with
Yeah,
everybody? I'm assuming. We get
yeah.
that's a lot of dogs and a lot of equipment. So what you do with your dogs, if I'm correct, is agility. This will show you how much I know about dog training and things because I know there's like barn hunt and
Right.
dock dive. There's like so many things that people can do with their dogs. Is agility? I mean, that's your main focus, right?
Absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely.
okay. And how long have you been doing agility with your dogs?
It's 2009,
Since
July of
2009. So
2009, almost
14
14
yeah.
years.
Okay. So 14 years. And how there's a picture of your gang.
Yes.
Um, do you have that many dogs now?
No, we've lost, Pansy, the tricolor that's 3rd from the left. She was my first agility dog, and the lone Blenheim in there was her daughter, and I lost her 2 weeks ago. She was set they were both 17 when they passed over.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
So when I think of agility, I don't think Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Most people don't.
Most people don't. But you have sort of broken that stigma that Cavaliers should not be in agility because your dogs, as far as I know, are pretty much at the top of the ranks with
All
everybody,
breeds. Well,
all
this,
breeds.
Dot, my little girl Dot, she's actually been the top mock dog, which is Master Agility Champion, the top dog of all breeds, all heights for the last 3 years
Wow, in the country.
in the country, yes.
Wow. So she's
And
fast.
she's incredibly fast. She just won the, Invitational down in Florida over close to 180 dogs.
Amazing.
And she
And that's all breeds
yes, well, 8 inch, that jump 8 inch.
that jump 8 inch.
Yeah.
Okay. And so how is the height? And here's the dogs with some of their awards. I mean, these dogs are amazing. Um, how is the height determined? Is it the size of the
It's
dog?
the
Is it
size.
the breed
It's the height of the dog at the withers.
at the
So
withers?
she's only 10.5 inches tall.
And so she jumps 8 inches and she's
Yes,
10.5 inches.
yes, and she weighs about 12 pounds.
So that's actually pretty high when you consider it's almost the height of the dog.
Oh, sure, that's very high.
Like if I had to jump my height, yeah, right.
Yeah, prob yes, it would.
It would be a huge problem. So are all of your dogs in the 8 inch category or do some
N
of them have to jump higher?
no, I have 2 boys that are in the 12-inch category because but interestingly, they're each 12.5 inches tall, and they only have to jump 12 inches.
So they're jumping their height,
Yes,
basically.
exactly,
Wow.
where she's actually, taller than her height.
Wow. So, and it's interesting because some of the pictures, and we'll see some as we go through, but some of the pictures with your dogs, they look like they could clear twice the height that they're jumping over. I mean, here we go. These
Oh,
these
yeah.
dogs are flying,
That's
and
Dart.
that is
She was actually 3rd in the country last year, and
amazing.
actually in 2021 also, she was number 3 in the country. So she's
How did
that is my actually 3rd generation, that's Dutch. He's 3rd generation, he just turned 2, and I actually just sent his entry in for Westminster, for the agility at Westminster, because it's been very fun to watch it because I have his dad, I also have his grandfather, who was one of my first agility dogs, a dog named Dash, who is the highest titled cavalier in AKC agility.
wow.
Dash. He's now almost 13 and that's Dash. And he's doing nose work now. And he absolutely loves it. He can't do agility anymore. He had hurt his back.
And
And
how old is he?
he'll be 13 in June.
So we just changed him to a different sport so
Yeah,
that he'd still have a job.
exactly. Because he was not happy not having a job.
I would imagine. I would think once these dogs start, and now you're at the point where you're actually breeding these dogs to
I'm not
do
breeding them. I
this.
have two very close friends who
Okay.
breed.
But you're actually looking at lines
Absolutely,
to
absolutely.
improve the agility with these dogs. So let's talk about what agility is, how you got into it, and how you train for it, because I have no clue. So you said you started in 2009. What made you start?
My daughter was in the post office one day and she saw a sign for agility lessons that our neighbor was giving us when we lived in New Jersey. And we went over with our couple. I had an English setter at the time, and my daughter had a little Cavalier, our very first Cavalier, named, of course, Charlie. And
Well,
we started all taking lessons together. And then my other daughter eventually got Pansy, and it was something we did as a family. And my instructor, God love her, Kay Datesman, down from South Jersey, and I still am in touch with her. She kept telling me, you have to compete. My English setter unfortunately got a brain tumor and passed away
oh,
at 5 years old, right as I was getting ready to enter her.
oh, geez.
And then Pansy actually left my daughter's room that night and came and stayed with me.
Oh,
It was like, she's like, okay, mom needs me now. And then it took me almost another year to enter her, because I was just doing it for fun. Because I kept telling Kay, the instructor, I said, I am insanely competitive. I want to do this just for fun.
otherwise it's no holds barred.
Yeah, she said to me, she goes, this dog is too good. You have to compete her. You have to. So she came over to my house one day with an entry form already filled out and said, sign it, and you're going to start running her. And we did. And that was kind of the start of something special. And Pansy was 5 years old at the time. And she ran until she was 14.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. She had an incredible career. Absolutely. For a novice A dog, which is what we call our first dogs, she ended up with 21 Masters Agility Championships
Wow.
and 3 of the preferred agility championships.
Okay, so that's what this, and what's the difference between masters and preferred?
The preferred dogs get to jump height lower. It's
Are
usually
they
reserved.
generally older dogs or
They're older
dogs?
dogs or dogs that have a bit of a health issue, but in the case of Zoom, here's one. She's 7 now. She was diagnosed with a heart murmur, a grade 3 heart murmur, when she turned 6. Our cardiologist told me she did not want her retiring, but if there was something a little less strenuous she could do that. So Zoom went down to 4 inches. Now, here's the very interesting thing about it. Her last cardiology check had gone back down to a grade 1.
Wow.
So we're ecstatic about that. And she was the top preferred dog in the country last year
Wow.
with a heart murmur. So, you know, that's a really good thing. And she's not on any meds or anything. She just gets some, nutritional support.
Right. And your dogs are raw fed, correct?
Yes, they are.
And
Yes, they are.
do you make your own raw?
No, I don't. No,
Okay.
I did for a while, but that was
It's
really
a
good.
lot of work and you have a lot of dogs and you do a
Yes,
lot of traveling.
yes, I do.
How many days in a typical year are you on the road?
Oh, probably about 150
It's a
to
lot. And
200.
you have a motorhome that you travel with all
Yes, I
these
do.
dogs.
Not necessarily on the road because I live near a place that has a lot of agility trials.
Great.
So that made life more convenient. I moved up to Pennsylvania so my son would have a really good high school to go to. And that worked out great for him and it worked out great for me because there's an agility place right near here.
Awesome.
So it just worked out very well.
So how do you train dogs for agility? And when you're in the ring, is it the movement of your body, hand motions, voice? Are you allowed to use your voice?
Oh,
How do the
sure.
dogs know where to go?
Oh, it's voice, it's the hand motions, it's your feet. A lot of it's your feet because they're little dogs. Where do they go to see? Your feet and where your feet are moving. Dottie has an incredible vocabulary. She knows left, she knows right, she knows all kinds of words. Back, that means turn away from me. Turn means turn towards me. The directionals left and right. She knows the name of every piece of equipment. I mean, you can have 3 things beside each other, and I can tell her from, just standing still which one to go to.
Amazing.
That's part of her training the discrimination. She knows what teeter means. She knows bang it. She knows walk it for the dog walk. Up is the A-frame. So she knows all those, a lot of words.
That is amazing. How long does it take you to train one of these dogs from your first lesson to I'm ready to take this dog and enter them?
It really depends on the dog. I've been fortunate enough to have litter mates. A couple years ago, I got litter mates because they were both by my dog Dash, and they were out of Dottie's litter mate, out of her sister. So I took two of them, and one of them was for my son. And they start at the same time. They did the same amount of trials, and the girl whose name is Dart is actually a Mach 16, and her brother, whose name is Dodger, is Mach 13.
And so
So
does
he was
that
a
means
little slower. The
one
boys,
has 16 championships and the other one has
yeah,
13 championships? Okay.
yes. The boys chiefly don't develop as quickly mentally as the girls. Like that little girl who's on now, Spirit, she'll be 3 years old on April 1st, and she already has 6 mocks.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure she was born knowing agility.
And look at the clearance over that bar. I
Yeah,
mean,
she's tiny. She is only 9.5 inches tall and
so
weighs
she's
9 pounds.
jumping 8 inch or 4?
She jumps 8, and she has no problem.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, she
This
has no
is
problem. And that's Zoom right there. That's the one that has the heart murmur. In fact, she just walked over to me on the couch here. That's Zoom, who obviously is not wasting any time.
well, and
And
why would you?
yeah, that, she actually won the Invitational in 2018. She had a little bit of a stubborn streak, so it was kind of a little harder to train her. And she was actually kind of on the shy side when we got her.
Huh.
So, and now just on Friday, she decided to go visit the judge when I was showing her. So, so the shyness is gone. The shyness is gone.
Well, that's good. I mean,
It is. It's very good.
I would think for doing agility, and well, I mean, we want these dogs to hit this hard. I would think you want them to be fairly outgoing and
Absolutely.
have that personality of, I'm going to crush this.
That's a huge thing. Like Dottie is convinced when she's at these events, especially the large ones, that everybody is there to see her.
Well, and they are if she's winning everything.
In fact, my trainer was saying this morning that before the large event, she walks around with her and just says, "See all these people? They're here to see you. They're here to see you." And she's pretty convinced of that. And she goes out there and just she runs with all the confidence in the world. But I do look for confidence in a dog. That's a big thing I look for, is the confidence with them.
And do you feel like you can, if you have a shy dog, you can build that confidence
Yeah,
in them?
absolutely. Absolutely. Because Spirit was on the Shire side also. And I actually got Dutch about a couple months after Spirit, and he's very outgoing and bouncy and just resilient and happy. And he was the best thing in the world for her. And I know people always say, don't get two puppies at once, but he was incredibly good for her. His
They can
breeder,
be.
yeah, his breeder actually said to me, because he's by my dog Dodger, and he was supposed to, I wasn't supposed to take a puppy. And she called me at the age of 3 weeks and said, "You have to take this puppy. He's going to be something special." And how she knew it, I don't know. But indeed, she was very right. Because with each
Wow.
generation, he's my third generation, and he is a step better than his father, and his father is a step better than his grandfather.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool when you see that.
Now, do you compete against littermates of your dogs?
Yes, actually, my dog Bonus has a litter mate named Jojo who competes. Those two dogs were a repeat breeding of Dot, and I took the boy mainly to keep Dot's genes because Dot is spayed,
Okay.
and his sister Jojo, they compete often against each other, but Dot goes in and beats them both. So
So, speaking of having dogs spayed or intact, do you generally leave your dogs intact, or what are your thoughts on spay
the
neuter?
boys stay intact. The
Okay.
girls are neutered. I'm changing. I'm kind of changing in that with all the recent studies that have been done. I've never had an issue with girls dying young for
Hmm.
whatever reason. Thank God. My girls have all lived. I mean, I did lose two of them to cancer, but they
Okay.
weren't the cancers that are chiefly associated to spaying early. One
Right.
died of adenocarcinoma, and the other died of melanoma.
Eesh.
And they are not the cancers that are attributed to spaying.
No, and they're not even that common in Cavaliers,
Oh,
period.
yeah. I mean, I was shocked. I mean, she was given 4 months, and she lasted, Jenny Sue, I think you remember her.
Hmm.
the little Blenheim I had. In fact, you
Mhm.
helped me with her quite a bit. And she lasted almost 2 years
Wow.
after the anal gland cancer. And then, but Brooke, I'll tell you, she went quick, and we did the radiation, and we did the vaccine for melanoma. And the radiation looked really good for a while, but when it came back with a vengeance.
Yeah. And
It came back,
unfortunately,
and she went through the whole series of vaccinations.
yeah,
And she,
unfortunately, that's how those are when they come back, man. They're
oh,
just so
and
aggressive.
then she developed a carcinoma in her lungs.
Ugh.
And I said, I'm not good. They wanted to take her lung out. And I said, I'm not going to do it to her.
Yeah.
She was, and the sad part was she had a healthy heart.
Ugh.
She,
So, do you do agility with every single one of the dogs that you get?
if they want to do it, if they want to do it, I haven't had any of them that say, no, we don't want to do this. We don't want to do it. One of Pansy's puppies, Herbie, was kind of indifferent about it. And, I didn't make him do it. I just,
Okay.
and Rosie was never able to do it because she had had an accident as a puppy. That was the one I just lost last week at 17. But she went with me to every show, and she hung out, and, she was on the same program, the same diet and everything as the agility dogs.
Well, and that's why you're getting dogs that are living to 17 and a half because
Yes.
they're raw
They're,
fed, they're mentally stimulated, they are physically stimulated. So what's the first walk us through how you start a dog with agility. Do you start with basic obedience first? Are you training them with food? Like how do you get
we
these
we
guys
try to
going?
build their toy drive. That's the big thing. My whole program is based on play and fun. And I mean, does she look like she's having fun right now?
She is having a ball. Is this the one that barks while she's running?
Yes, that's Dottie. And she has a ball, and we just worked on her play drive and her ball. I mean, oh, today she's 8.5 years old, and she still chases a ball like a puppy. And I mean, her eyes are gonna pop out of her head in that picture. She's so excited. But we work on that. We work on their balance. We Dutch spent 4 months just running a board on the ground to learn how to place his feet before he ever even thought about running a dog walk.
Hmm.
So they learn about feet placement. We do a lot of foot targeting, so they know all the time where their feet are, because that's very important when a small dog is running across a dog walk that's 4 feet off the ground. They really need to know where they're placing their feet
Hmm.
so they don't slip off it.
And you teach them that by walking on a board?
Well, they learn to run on a board. They just learn
Wow.
to run across the board, a foot wide board that's 12 feet long. It's
Okay.
basically the top ramp of a dog walk on the ground. And he learned
Okay.
to run across that. They all learned to run across that. And then as they grew up, it was nothing big, no big deal for them. The teeter is no big deal. A lot of my dogs, most of my dogs actually, I've taught to ride a skateboard as puppies. So they're used to something moving under their feet.
Right.
So that transfers over to the teeter. And then when they're puppies, they have a wobble board, and they have the little Bosu balls that they all learn how to balance.
And you're
And
building so much core strength when you're doing that.
exactly, it builds a lot of core strength. It builds a lot of strength in their shoulders, which they're going to need for when they weave.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the weave, they need the core strength for that and pushing themselves through those poles.
Exactly, exactly. Because like with for getting them prepared for weaving, I'll put them on the Bosu ball and rock it back and forth, so their shoulders are going like this.
Right.
So they're building that the muscles in the shoulders.
Now, I know that you told me you use these laser coats
Yes, the Spectre
for
therapy coach. Yeah, they're
for the
amazing.
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would think that keeping, muscles supple, decreasing any inflammation. How often do you see dogs getting hurt running agility?
They get hurt, but I would say that is in direct correlation to how fit they are. So I've seen my dogs, they have a table they have to do. I've seen them slide their whole front end off the table and then able to pull themselves back up because they have the core strength.
Mhm.
But again, I would say it has a lot to do with their fitness. You can't have what do they call it? A weekend warrior.
Yeah.
You have to, my dogs spend a lot of time just running in the backyard. One of the things I looked for when I was buying a house up here was something that had a hill with it. because I wanted them to be able to run up and down hills and do hill work. We never had that in New Jersey. And I will tell you, they're stronger dogs now than they were in New Jersey with
Oh,
no
hills
hill.
are hills are awesome. That's
Oh, yeah.
actually one of the things that I tell people just for home PT. Even if you live like in South Jersey, it was always, well, go somewhere and find some sort of
Yeah,
gentle slope. It's not easy to do in South Jersey, especially down near the shore, but go
right.
find a sand dune or something you can
Exactly.
walk
Do
up.
something that they can exercise on because that's so important to them. And I have a golden retriever and a rat terrier who are very fast dogs, and they love to chase them. The Cavaliers chase them, and they run and they run and they run at least 10 times a day. They run up and down that hill
That's awesome.
as fast as they can go. So,
Now, with these dogs that are in training and like these dogs that are going to nationals, do you work them every single day? Are they training in
oh,
agility every
absolutely
day?
no
No.
way. I mean, we trialed this weekend, and then okay, before nationals, everybody's training and drilling every single day. No, yesterday they got to play and they got to be dogs, and they spent the entire day pretty much outside running and playing outside and going in and out of the house. While I was cleaning the house, they're in and out. They all got haircuts and baths yesterday. So
That was on my list and I didn't get to it yesterday. It's still on the list. So, how many dogs are at your house right now?
10.
10. And you
Yes.
got all 10 dogs groomed in a day. Man, you're better than me.
Yeah. Well, I got 7 of them groomed, and and,
I only have 4 to do. I can't even get 1 done.
well,
Uh,
I did 3 of them on Sunday because yesterday morning I do therapy work with 3 of the girls. And they love that. And I know before big events, they especially love to go because it's something different for them.
and so
And
where do they go for that?
they go to Misericordia Nursing Home, and it's actually run by the sisters who taught me in high school. So and then they have that up near here. So I actually see a couple of my old teachers there.
That's
And
amazing.
it's wonderful because the girls love it. 3 of the girls go. We go every other week, and they have their specific people now. They go in and they pull me to the different rooms, and they just absolutely love it. But it's something different for them to do, and that's what Cavaliers were bred to do is the comfort. So they're getting that outlet. They're getting to do what they were bred to do.
That is amazing.
Yeah, Dottie's very very good at it. They're very very good at it.
So on a typical week, how many days are you doing like pretty intensive training with these dogs?
Oh, 1 day of intensive training, and then we'll do a day, just where if we've had a specific weakness over the weekend, we'll go work on it. And then maybe a day of just strength training where they go on the Bosu balls and the fit paws, the bones and everything, and do sit-ups and push-ups and that kind of thing. And then they have a Kato board where they have to run up to it real quick and stop, and that actually builds up for the teeter because they have to go up a teeter and stop at the end of it. So the Kato board builds that in them. Today we were doing the Kato board with Dot, and we were throwing the ball, and she was having to do some self-regulation of
Mm.
not jumping off the Kato board until she was told to go get her ball, which was very very hard for her.
But these dogs are so well trained. So I want to run a video. I think we have 2 videos of your dogs running, and we're going to put the sound on because the announcer is amazing. And you can tell us where these were and which dog it
This
is
is a
once we get
gorgeous
it.
A-frame. Look at that, just doesn't
Okay,
stop.
that's Dodger.
There's that white turn there,
That's actually Dot's
and then
nephew
it's
by
repulsed,
Dash.
and you can see the focus.
That's one of my puppies.
And how old is this dog?
He's 5. He's actually an agility grand champion, as is Dot, which is the highest level they can reach.
This is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
That's 450 Qs. It's a really tough diet. It's supposed to be a lifetime achievement award, and he got it when he was 4 years old.
Wow. And
Yeah,
here he goes.
yeah.
Still another white
There's a
turn.
teeter.
They're coming
Oh,
out of there.
I can't
Looking
see
at
it.
that jump.
That was close
It's not
on the
moving on
teeter,
mine.
just hit the
Okay,
ground.
it is here.
Nice A-frame.
Okay.
We got a white turn there, but look at the ground speed. Look at him.
All I
picking
see
him
is
up, putting
even
him
on the
down.
A-frame.
Here he goes
go.
up the dog walk.
Yep. And he had a
There it
wonderful
is.
dog
Go,
walk
go,
that
go.
night.
And the
Got
weaves.
a chance,
Yes.
got a chance, got a chance.
And I think that's the last fence.
Stops
Yep.
the clock at
And unfortunately, I think he was 2/10 of a
Now
second
it's the
slower
third
than the
dog
second
we've
place
seen
dog.
today run in the
Aw.
29s,
So he
but
got
that's
third,
not good
which
enough
was
to
fabulous.
bump that
And where
run.
was this one?
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. That was in Orlando. That was the Invitational.
Wow.
Yeah, there was I think all close to 150 dogs in his class, and he actually went into that second seated,
Wow.
second place.
Good for him. All right, I think we have a second video. Let's see if we can get our second one up. These dogs are I love watching your dogs run.
And this is Dot.
This is Dot. This is the fastest one, right?
Yes.
She's pretty amazing. You have to wait for the video to load. Takes it a minute. Here we go.
Okay.
8 years old from Dover, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I saw Dot
It's
and
still for me.
Antonia run earlier today.
I can see it.
We're going to be in for a treat.
She's sitting very patiently. There she goes.
They know what they've got to do.
Oh, in the tunnel, she
Stop there.
actually on another
Just like,
video I
oh,
have,
good
it shows
save.
her
Good
falling in the
save.
tunnel.
Dot was
She
definitely
came out of the
looking
tunnel on her
at that
side.
off-course
jeez.
jump, but Antonia saved it. Get a tight turn here.
They lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, and they lost a little bit of time here too. Now, look, those turns are a little wide, but
And
look
where
at the
is this
ground
one?
speed going on
That's
here
in
right now.
Orlando also.
Also.
Those runs were within about
Get this
15
running
minutes of
dog
each other.
walk.
Were they in the same class or different?
Different classes. That Dodger jumps 12 inches. She jumps
Oh,
8.
okay.
There you go.
It's going to be
There
close.
it is.
Got it. A fault-free effort from Dot. And despite getting a little bit sideways coming out of the first tunnel, the time is a championship time.
8-inch winner. Amazing. Amazing. How long ago was that video taken?
In December.
That was December. So that was
Yes.
pretty recent.
Yep.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
when you're in Oklahoma, we have Dot running. Who else is running?
I have 7 of them running. 8
Oh
of
my
them.
gosh.
I have 7 Cavaliers and the Golden Retriever, who I have to mention is almost 11 years old and still running strong.
An 11-year-old golden retriever.
Yes.
And how high does he have to jump?
He's in preferred, so he only jumps 16.
16 inches.
Yes,
That's
but he,
still for an 11-year-old dog.
oh, I showed him last week. He did a standard run in 36 seconds. He's amazing. He is absolutely amazing. I'm like, dude, you must drink from the fountain of youth.
So what do you do to get you in shape to do this? Because if I remember correctly, you had hurt your knee or something a while back. And I
Yes.
thought, how is she running with these dogs?
Well, I'll go back to that laser at nationals 2 weeks before nationals last year. One of my dogs, Bonus, slammed into my knee and he tore my meniscus. And I went to nationals and it was pretty terrible. And the fellow who owns the Spectre Therapy pulled me aside, and I bought a coat for Dot. And he gave me a knee wrap, and he says, you just take this for the weekend and use it. And I was able to run 7 dogs because it was Mr. T also. And we made 3 to finals with 3 of them.
Wow. With,
So-
with an owner who was impaired.
And Dottie actually won jumpers, which is absolutely the speed stake. You know, that's the really fast run. She
So
won that.
there's different classes within the
Yes.
agility? Oh,
Yes.
so what are some of the different things that they can do?
Uh,
I'm
standard
so
and-
unfamiliar with this.
For nationals, there's standard, jumpers, and hybrid. Hybrid is a combination of jumpers and standard. Standard is the one that you just saw with all the contact equipment.
Okay.
And then jumpers there's Bonus. That's actually a full brother to Dot. And
Okay.
Jumpers is just jumps and weave poles and tunnels. And
Okay.
that's where the kind of the fastest dogs rise up,
Okay.
because that's all about the speed. And that's the one, Dottie won that over 180 dogs last year at nationals. And then Zoom won the 4-inch preferred standard.
At nationals.
Yes, they actually are the first 2 Cavaliers to ever win classes at nationals.
Wow.
Yep. And they did it within a couple hours of each other.
Do people cringe
As
when
far
they
as I know. Let's
do
put
people
it that-
cringe when they see you coming with your dogs if they're in your
I-
class?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it's kind of nothing against Papillons or Shelties or anything, but I think it's very refreshing to see another breed come along and do really well. My son was like that with the Golden Retriever. You know, he would compete against the Border Collies
Mm.
and beat the Border Collies. It's kind of fun to take a breed that's not a fashionable breed for agility and do really well with them.
So what are the most common breeds in agility? 'Cause my sister has a corgi that she does agility, and
Oh,
I've watched him run, and he's incredibly slow, but she's having a good time. So it's
Corgis
like,
are
great.
fabulous. Corgis are absolutely fabulous agility dog. The dog that has been second to Dot for the last 3 years is a Pembroke Welsh Corgi,
Really?
and he's a fabulous dog.
Huh.
And he won the Invitational, I believe, in 2020.
Okay.
2020, he won it, and he is a fabulous dog.
That's funny. I just don't think of them
You
as
think
an
it, but
agility dog.
I have a friend, Darlene Paul, who has some of the best. She actually had one of the foundation corgis, where
Huh.
his puppies are in almost every really successful corgi today.
Wow.
A dog named Toby, and
Amazing.
that dog was a little dog she bought from a dog show at a dog show, and turned him into an incredible. And her dogs are very long lived, also.
Is
But
she a
I
raw
do.
feeder as well?
Yes, she is. She is. And I do believe that between the raw food and the exercise and the teeth. Now, Dottie has had teeth problems her whole life. She doesn't have many teeth left, but her mouth was a little too small for the size of her teeth.
Mm.
But that's been her, knock on wood, her only really physical flaw has been her teeth. But I take care of them, and I think she has 6 teeth left.
It's
But
better
God
than
love
none.
you. But part of that was because she was coming over a teeter one day and reached to go get her cookie too soon and knocked all her front teeth out
Oh.
with the teeter reaper. And she never even stopped, never even paused.
Well, she clearly loves what she does. I mean, to the just the big eyes and the look on her
It's good.
face when she's doing this, there she
Yeah,
is.
there she is.
And clearly these are not kennel dogs. These are dogs who lay on your sofa and are just loved to death.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that if you have a dog that doesn't really want to do it, you find something else for them. Like you were saying, your one of your older ones. What was it you did instead? Oh, nose work.
Dash, nose
Nose
work.
work.
And he loves it. He just loves it. And
Yeah,
he's another, knock on wood, a dog from healthy bloodlines. His mother passed away at 16, and I think his father was close to 17.
it's great.
Yep. And neither one of them died of heart disease.
Which is
Yeah,
that's saying a lot right there because of
right.
the breed that you're dealing with. So,
Right. Dash is
um,
now, he developed a heart murmur when he was 10. He was the one that was lost in the woods for 3 days. Do you remember that
I
years ago?
do. How did he get lost in the woods?
He ran out my back door and chased a deer, and he got lost. And between the coyotes and everything else, he came back a little on the Shire side, but then he came back again and did some wonderful things. But he
Man,
was 4 years old at the time, but he didn't develop a heart issue till he was 10. And he's been holding steady at a grade 2. He's on a very, I think 0.12, I'm sorry, 1.25 milligrams of vetmedin twice a day. He gets a teeny little bit.
yeah, not bad, not
No,
bad.
no, and like I said, he's almost 13. But
Well,
the breeders I deal with have made it their business. They are really emphatic about health testing. I would say that all of my dogs except Zoom and Spear, because I didn't have their hips done because they were spayed, have had their chicks. Now Zoom can't get hers because she popped the heart murmur, but every other one of my dogs have their chick certificates. So,
what you're doing with these dogs is amazing,
well,
and
well,
I
my
just
breeders have a lot of credit in that too because
well,
they're so
sure.
careful. Because so many breeders of small dogs and Cavaliers do not do the hips. They breed without doing the hips, and we need good hips,
Yeah, kinda.
quite frankly. I
Well,
just
Cavaliers are. I mean, I've seen a lot of hip dysplasia in Cavaliers, which we normally think of as a large breed
exactly.
problem. There's a lot of hip dysplasia, and the luxating patella is just a huge problem.
Huge, huge. I
Huge
just took
problem.
Dutch last week. He turned 2 in June. He went last week to get his hips and his knees done. And his hips, the vet he didn't even have to anesthetize him to do the hips. And he's like, these should be excellent hips. They're gorgeous. They're very, very
Great,
deep socket, and his patella's passed.
great.
So that was very good. And we do the eyes and the heart. So they're
So
very,
this is truly a love. Now, do you
absolutely.
have to do anything other than racing around these courses with your dogs? Do you do anything else to keep you? I mean, you're doing all this work with core strength and balance and all this with your dogs. Do you do that for you? It's like is that something
I
that
do the
you need to
bicycle.
do?
I do the Peloton bicycle. I walk a lot. I do a lot of running with them.
Yeah.
Uh, I do a lot of gardening. I mean, I'm a very, very, very active person. So,
I think you
of
would have to
course,
be.
yeah, I do a lot of sit-ups to keep my core strong. Like I told you earlier, I lost 50 pounds
It's
just to be
amazing.
able to keep up with these guys because it was getting a little rough. I mean, I was really losing my breath big time. And there's no way I could run as many as I do if I had not lost that weight. Um,
Right.
I'm very careful about what I eat. I only try to eat very clean. Clean. Sugar is just about non-existent in my diet because that is not
Amazing.
good for you at all.
No.
I'm very good with, I'm very low on salt also. So I'm just, like I said, I try to eat very, very clean. I try to eat pretty well raw for the most part.
So
So,
basically, by doing this sport with your dogs, you have improved their health and longevity. You've improved your health and
oh, I would
longevity.
have to say so. Sure.
That's
Sure.
amazing. So
Yeah.
how many of your kids are still involved in this?
None of them.
None?
None of them, unfortunately.
Ah,
Unfortunately, none of them. My son John, he's in Florida. He has his own business. He actually founded his own product that he's
awesome.
selling. Yep. And then my son Anthony, who was the one with Zoom, who won the Invitational. Something very sad happened to him. He had a rat terrier, and the doggone dog jumped on our counter and ate a bottle of a glucosamine supplement and destroyed his liver.
Really? On a
And he was,
glucosamine supplement?
it had manganese in it.
Wow.
And he ate a whole bottle of it.
Yeah.
He ate a whole bottle of it. So it's, I mean, we got him to the hospital, but there was, it just, his liver was getting better and then he turned around and had a stroke. So that pretty well just destroyed Anthony's desire
Mm,
because he was the number 2 rat terrier in the country at the time.
wow.
Yeah. So that was very sad for him.
Dogs are like kids.
Oh,
Will find ways to get in trouble no
yes,
matter what we do.
exactly. They will. That's why I don't leave my house with my dogs loose.
Yeah.
My dogs are never loose unless I'm in the house. And people think, God, you keep them crated all the time. Well, I'm home most of the time. So it just is
Well,
a,
and they're clearly getting enough exercise and mental
yes,
stimulation.
exactly.
They probably need a little downtime.
Well, exactly. They do. Like today, after they train, they do need to go in their crates and sleep for a little bit because that's how what they learn gets cemented in them.
Yeah.
They learn a concept. And I was just reading last week that play helps synapses in the brain grow. That without play, I think it takes 50 to 75 repetitions or something for a synapse to start to develop. And with play, it only takes 25 repetitions.
Wow.
If you do 25 repetitions and throw the ball for a couple minutes, they get it much quicker than if you stand there and do 75 repetitions. So, and I will find that source for you
Yeah, that's very
where,
cool.
but it was really a very cool thing to read that. And I'm like, okay, we are onto something here by having them play.
Well, yeah. I mean, you remember things that are fun.
Yes,
Things that
exactly.
you just have to memorize are just no fun. So
Well,
yeah.
exactly. Well, like with her, she's 8.5 years old. With Dottie, 8.5 years old. We end every training session still playing with the ball. And for every one of my dogs, that's how we end it with, because okay, this is a really good thing. You want to get down, then go down. Go ahead. So
Kids.
it just is, it's a very good thing to reinforce with fun. Like when they do a mistake, I just ignore it. I ignore it. If they do something, that they're not supposed to on the agility field, you'll see me either, kind of just look at them and go, oh, that was silly. Or just, they're never reprimanded. I used to. I used to be, oh, what did you do? And that just kind of takes their drive away. And then, they look at you with those eyes. Dottie looks at me and she looks like Puss in Boots from Shrek when she gets upset about something. So it's like, oh no, we don't reprimand her.
And I think that's a good takeaway that if you just sort of ignore what went wrong and just move on to the next good thing and reward the good, just keep rewarding the good things, you're
Exactly.
going
Like,
to get what you want.
right. Cavaliers don't like to come when they're called. You know that. If they're doing something, they're like, yeah, we'll be right there. Yeah,
See you in a minute.
exactly. I think I'll go do this first. No, you need to come to me. But you know what? It doesn't do any good to really be strict with them. Give them a cookie when they come. And I'll tell
Right.
you, Dart is the worst one in the world. my happy-go-lucky, kind of, we call her wiggle bug because she wiggles constantly. She's always wiggling because she's so happy. But she doesn't, that's Dart, but she doesn't like to come. But now she has a wonderful recall because every time, and it only took a couple days, but every time she'd come to me, but I'd be there jackpotting her for the cookies for coming. And now she's like, "Oh, did I hear you call my name?
Did I hear a cookie?
Did I hear you? I'm here. I'm here." See, and you know what? She still gets jackpotted for it because
Hey.
I always have loads of cookies in my pockets.
Yeah.
Even walking around the house because they need to learn that because a recall is a very important thing to have.
Absolutely.
It can be the difference between life and death in a dog.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And
So,
I finally took Forrest, my 18-month-old hydrocephalus cavalier, to puppy training class
okay.
over the last couple of months. And so the last class was all about recall and come. But he's very weird in his hearing. He hears things backwards. His hydrocephalus has totally screwed it up.
Okay.
So like we saw a great example of it. We were having an office meeting and something happened in the room behind me and he ran that way. And that's what he does. So when I say come, he goes the other way, like or looks the other direction.
Sure.
So it's like it's this weird echoey thing. So we're trying to figure out how to work around that, but so far he's actually getting it because we do it on long leash and stuff. But
Right.
it's when you have these dogs with these challenges, it's like, oh my goodness, to figure that one out.
Exactly. I've had like bonus that the full brother I have of Dot, God love him. I swear he went without oxygen when he was born because the boy is just, and he is, for the longest time, he couldn't even trot. He was pacing.
Oh,
So I took him out of agility for a while and we just did a lot of cavaletti work. So he could learn because I said, it's totally unfair for me to expect this dog to weave when he
yeah,
can't even trot.
yeah,
But with cavaletti work, it got him thinking about where he was and the foot placement. Again, foot placement. It was all about the foot
awesome.
and he learned how to do it. And now he's a pretty doggone good agility dog.
That is so cool. So your dogs are top in the country, and yet you still go to an agility trainer
Oh
to help
yeah.
you with these dogs?
Well, she actually comes here. I've been with her for 12 years, Chris Ott. And
So continued training is important no
oh,
matter
it
what
never
level they're at.
stops. It never
It never
stops because
stops.
she takes lessons from people. And then I get what she learns. So and she is a absolutely world team and she was a border collie person. She taught a lot of different breeds, but she was on the world team and the European Open team and everything else.
Wow.
And the one thing I really love about her is that she has never had me train my dogs like small dogs. She has always trained them like border collies from day one with Pansy. She said, "You don't want to do that much work to have to run along with a small dog." So if you see in the tapes of me running my dogs, I'm never right on top of them.
Right.
They have send commands. They can go out to do things on their own. They can see a line. We teach them to see a line of jumps. That unless I call you, you do the line that's in front of you.
That's great.
Unless I tell you something different, you jump what's in front of you.
Cool.
So and she has taught them, and I attribute a whole lot of our success to her because she has always trained them like big dogs.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it really is. It
That is
really,
so
really
cool.
is. She's been wonderful with us.
Oh, now my dog's gonna talk. Antonia, thank you so much for sharing all your
You're
knowledge, for
welcome.
sharing your wonderful, lovely dogs. Good luck at nationals. I don't think you
There's my
need
Dot.
luck.
No,
I
we
don't
need
think you
luck.
need luck. I think Dot
We always need luck.
is just gonna go do her thing and be the star of the show. I can't wait to hear the results. And I love following your dogs on social media and seeing what they're doing. It's so cool. It is so cool.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it a lot. I really appreciate it. And
Well,
appreciate the time you're given to the agility.
Well, and listen, I know nothing about it. I'm learning, and at least I now know
It's
what
a
the
wonderful
initials
sport.
are.
It's an absolutely wonderful sport, and it's a wonderful thing to do with your dog because it really keeps them healthy. I mean, most people aren't quite as, you know, dramatic as I am with it because I weigh them every week and their food gets weighed out and their supplements, or I'm careful with their supplements and all that
There's a
stuff.
reason your dogs are on top.
Yeah, there is. A lot of work goes into these dogs. I'm very fortunate that I have the time to do that.
Yeah,
So I know I'm a very, very lucky person that I'm able to live the life I live. And
that's
I'm
awesome.
even more lucky that I have the dogs that I do,
Yeah.
because I believe we're sent the dogs we need. Maybe not the dogs we want, but
Every one of them teaches us something.
well, that's exactly right. Like I was telling you with Bonus, he has taught me so much about patience, and it's been paying off with him because he's a good boy.
Yep.
He's actually very good.
Even
So
if he does run into your knee occasionally.
yeah, we don't do that. Judges know now if they see my hat come off, if we go back to repeat something with Bonus, they know that's to stop him from running into my knee. I don't hit him with it, but
You
he
just-
just knows it's like it's actually a self-preservation, because
sure.
he knocks his knee again and he just makes it. I'll have to have surgery on it.
Yeah,
Which will
let's
take,
not do that.
no, which will take
You'd
me
have
out.
to take too much time off from training.
I know. Right. Exactly right.
Well, good luck next week. I
Okay.
can't wait to see the results. I'll watch for them on social media. This is awesome. Dot.
Yes.
Bye, Dot. Thank
Okay.
you
Thank you,
so
Judy.
much.
Thank you. Bye bye.